it's just me thinking. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, don't listen to it. This is just myself trying to come to a conclusion, trying to answer the question: if viruses are dead, how did they get passed on? Now, we have seen the talk in the video I included and other videos that's covered about social media, different doctors and such, that our cells, the radiation from 5G and other things, basically create radiation in our bodies, and our cells fight back. Our body fights back by pushing out, flushing out the toxins to fight viruses, to fight this radiation or whatever disease is in us. So that got me to thinking, so if all viruses dead, now when you look at it, viruses have to pass a classification that I showed you in one of my videos. I think it has to pass 7 classifications for an organism or something to be alive, and a virus passes 4 of them or 3, so it doesn't get classed as being alive. You'll see some scientists that'll say it's alive, but the point of this video as well is basically talk about just something it crossed my mind, so just want to talk about that and share it with people and see if it resonates with them. Like I said, there's no proof, it's just me sharing an idea and seeing if better people, smarter people can run with it, or it's total bollocks and it gets shot down in burning flames, which doesn't matter, because as long as we're sharing and trying to do something, it's information at the end of the day, whether you can take it on board or wipe your ass with it. Hopefully not that. Well, then again, it'll come in handy if there's a toilet shortage. Toilet paper shortage. Because when we're in this community and we're looking on YouTube, looking on Facebook, all the social medias, and we're all looking for answers, we all seem to be looking for answers because we're human. It is programmed into us in such to always want to find, always to travel, to explore. Basically like the Star Trek intro, to boldly go beyond and all that malarkey. It's in us. Most of us have it, and some people are just happy. I mean, like I said, I'm a hermit of sorts, but I still find the rush of finding new information, knowledge, like, oh my god, like ecstasy type of thing. So ask yourself this, guys. For instance, when you're in your family and you're at home, one of your family gets a cold. Cold is a part of the coronavirus family. It's a common cold. If the virus is dead, the cold virus is dead, how does it get transferred from family member to family member to family member? It's an honest question, just like the flu and other things. Why and how is it passed on? So that got me thinking. Think about it. It's a virus. It's via us. So we are passing it on. How can you pass something on? It's dead. I mean, these viruses and different things, obviously once in the body, then replicate because they use our energy to produce and replicate. Well, I think that's the case. Obviously they can't replicate on their own because they're not alive. So how then do they transfer from person to person? Like I just said, one member gets a cough in the house. Most of the time, a few other people in your house will get a cough or a cold or a runny nose. So how's it passed on then if the virus is dead and things can't last on the surface for that long? Could it just be, yep, you've actually touched the same surface, you sneeze or some kind of surface, and they've picked it up straight away and then put it into their system, and then it replicates in you straight away? Which is possible, because obviously we've all done it. When you've been in a house with more than one person, you get a cough or a cold, you all get a cough and a cold. 9 times out of 10, obviously sometimes you don't, depending on your immunity levels and things like that. So that got me thinking, if it's not a case of passing it on by touch or droplets, sneezing in the face, because some people, we don't go around sneezing in each other's faces, and is it classed as airborne? We breathe it in. So all these questions you've got to ask. So that brought me back to the original thing. It's a virus via us. So like computers who have Trojan horses, they have worms, they have viruses, but everything can get passed on with like a Trojan horse, for instance, in And vaccines, they contain envelopes, which in the envelopes is a Trojan horse to carry whatever else is in there. For instance, we're talking about the 5G, this coronavirus. Is it going to get a vaccine? And in the vaccine, there's going to be an envelope with the microchips and all that type of stuff. So some things like this need to be passed on physically, type of thing, or is it physical? So this is the burning question that I've been asking myself today, and I've answered a few questions on it and just give my opinion on how it's transferred. I mean, this is not a video. I'm actually doing another video in a minute, and I'm sat here thinking, oh my god, I've just got this in my head, I have to get it out. So I've just saved it, and I'll get back to that after. I've had this video going for about 3 or 4 weeks, and I keep getting my mind tracked and you know, blindsided and talking about this and this, but it is what it is. So it got me thinking before, how about there is viruses, and I mean computer viruses. We are all classed sometimes as being walking computers. I've talked about as being walking antennas, and we do emit EMF fields, we do emit frequencies. All the world is a frequency according to the greatest mind and the universal laws. Everything is vibration and frequency. So, and we always see in these virus pictures, the CGI shit, that most of the viruses have spikes and different things. Or could they be antennas? So if, you know what I mean? And I'm not even saying like what a virus in itself, are they man-made, which I do believe they are. 99% of them could be man-made. Like I said, it's just a theory. I'm not saying it's facts because I can't back it up. And these are just one of those videos where I'm just humming and hawing and just trying to share something with you guys for food for thought. So that got me thinking, if viruses, could they in fact be passed on? Not the actual virus, but the coding of the virus. Now think about it, like everything is supposed to be binary, isn't it, as well, ones and zeros, information, it's code. I've talked about all these things spiritual wise in the catchy records and everything like that. So all the information is around us. We are walking antennas, we can pick up signals. If I'm happy and I walk into a room, it radiates the room, people feel better because I'm happy, and it passes over. I've said this so many times, when you're angry, you can go into a room, people can feel your vibe, you can feel it, because we're frequencies. You emit a frequency. When you're angry, you emit a frequency. When you're happy, you emit a frequency. When you're negative, like I mentioned the other day, and fear, it emits an energy. It emits a wave. Obviously we have the brain waves and different things. Can it be a manipulation of the waves? Could in fact, when we have a cold or a flu, we emit a frequency, like basically containing an activation code for, because the viruses are all in us. We all agree to that, I think, like cancer and different things. And if you use the theory of the viruses are dead and they need to replicate, obviously whatever they're spraying, whatever's in the vaccines, whatever's in the food, can contain all these things. And once we eat enough, it is in us and it just needs activating. So picture this, we're at home, someone's got the cold, they're blowing the nose, they're keeping the hygiene good, they're washing hands, they're throwing the towels away, but you still get it, even though they've not touched it and you're wiping surfaces down. Just like I was thinking then, once and then people emit a frequency, your body is picking up that frequency, and that in that frequency, it activates the cells in your body then to produce that virus. It's just a thought. I mean, you go into any news feeds, pardon me, and a few years ago, you can see, can I get that closer? There you go, you can just see it, and I'll read it out. It's basically talking about a contagious Wi-Fi virus created by Liverpool researchers, a computer virus that can spread via Wi-Fi like a common cold, has been created by researchers in Liverpool, and this was in 2014. Just just to show you that you can, I don't know whether you can see it because of the reflection. 2014 in February it was created, and yes, that is a computer virus. But aren't we like computer? Do some people believe we are in a matrix? If everything is a frequency, and I mean everything, that's what they tell us. So if they can hide envelopes in vaccines, in food, that can carry basically like the baseline source of a virus, and obviously if we don't detox and things like that, we actually stockpile the viruses in us. So obviously some people with high immune, because they eat right, they eat healthily, they drink the right waters, all this type of thing. If you think about it, they have their own personal force field. Like I said the other day, when we are positive, we are plus. Our force field can protect negative frequencies, i.e. but basically viruses piggybacking on the negative frequency. So obviously when we get ill, our immune systems are down, we feel negative, we're ill, you know, you don't think right, you produce a vibe. So when someone's angry and grouchy because they're unwell, obviously it's all frequencies. So this has just got me thinking, could this, and it's a huge what if, I have zero proof, it's just me theorising, and why not? Why can't I do that on my own channel? Because it's not like a case of I've got much anything else to do at the minute. So picture yourself as walking antennas, which we are, which I've proven. Negative energy can be trapped in crystal. We are crystal. So if this source line frequencies and code can piggyback on negativity or fear, when we feed, we're scared, our immune system lowers, the force field gets weaker in parts. These negative vibrations and frequencies can get through small gaps in the net, and it infects you. Fear infects you. People read this stuff, read the news, watch the news, and they get scared. Lowers your immune system, your stress level, then, you know, gets you into that mode when we know when we get stressed that it can create illnesses in regard to stress related illnesses. So why can't, when we are ill, or viruses like the corona, yes, people just don't know what it is. Is it see, because the coronavirus has up to 40 other diseases and viruses which classes as corona, so you have 40-ish. 40, there's 40, that's what we have. They could all be bollocks. How is it me? For instance, if I came out today and I put a coat on and I said, right, I am Dr. Black Sheep, I have a PhD, I have an MD in blah 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 blah, does that mean I'm right? Or could I be telling porkies? So that is what I always don't like to watch too many videos, because you have to take that person's word for it. Unless you can prove that you're an MD, you've been, oh, you know what I mean? It's like me saying, oh, I've been a biologist for 15 years, top of my field. How the hell are you going to know if that's true? Or you are not a plant, or you just telling porkies? This community, us looking for truth, makes us cynical. It's very hard not to be cynical. We all want answers. So when an answer comes along and it resonates with us, see, it resonates. It's a frequency. If it resonates with us, we jump on board and things go viral. Viral, virus. So all these crossover analogies from the computer to the human world is what give me the inspiration for this, to think, if we can have a virus and it is not alive, how does it get spread? Is it by a droplet? Is it in the air contagion? Is it touch? Because obviously our skin is porous, but it's dead. These were all the questions I asked myself. So when someone was posting something this morning, I just answered it thinking, well, if everything is a frequency, like they tell us, why can't the virus itself be emitting a frequency, a tone, a smell? Supposedly dogs can smell cancer and other things wrong with us. So if it produces an odour for a dog to pick up, is that the frequency the dog is picking up? So if I've got the cold and I stand and look next to the person but don't touch them, could it be in fact that the frequency, because I am ill, my immune system is low and my force field is emitting a different type of frequency because I'm ill, I'm lower, is the virus producing an emitter, like a sort, basically turning the antenna on for like a search party type of thing? Is it actually producing a signal to other similar types of antibiotics, viruses to activate, to come help type of thing? I'm just trying to make sense of what I was basically saying in posts before, and I'm thinking, don't think, Paul, it's dangerous. So this is just what I want to get this quick video out just to talk about. That is, we've seen a lot of it now. It's like you see a bit of information and then it comes next day and it gets morphed and it changes to something else, and people say, well, if it's not 5G, what is it else? I do believe that 5G is a part of it. It does activate some parts of the metals in your body. It does radiate and the body does produce these chemicals then. But how is the so-called coronavirus, which comes under 40 odd categories, so it can be anything, how does it get passed on to people? Well, like the flu and the cold, they are via us, viruses. How did it get from one person to another if they're dead? Is it droplets? Is it sneeze? Is it airborne? Is it someone touching a surface? But if it's dead, how can it survive without a cell to replicate? Or is it your enough cells on the object that you touch help to replicate? Which, like I said, I am no biologist, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I am just the black sheep researcher giving my honest opinion on what and how can things be passed on. So I was thinking, and that's where I just came up with it. I thought, well, if everything is a frequency, wouldn't even viruses emit a frequency or a code that other viruses could be triggered and turned on by? So these are analogies and different things that I just try and use, guys, that when you walk into a room, you're happy, the energy, the frequency is infectious, both negative and positive. I've talked about before how energy and feelings and whatever's going on in your head can be trapped in objects. For instance, when people talk about objects being cursed, because waves are frequencies and they can be trapped because everything is so-called vibrating. So if an object is vibrating, your frequencies, your thoughts, your negative emotions, your viruses could then in fact be trapped in between the molecules that's vibrating. It's just thinking out loud. You can watch it and think, oh my god, he's talking a load of bullets. I know, I probably am. But unfortunately, when you have your own platform, you can talk what you want. And yes, this is not a theory. Well, it is a theory. I'm coming, but there's no proof to it. I have no way of proving what I'm saying is right, wrong. It's just food for thought that these viruses could be man-made, but basically hidden in envelopes in the foods, in the water, in the particles, smart dust, in the air, be everywhere. And how can it be transferred from one person to a person? Well, like Wi-Fi viruses, computer Wi-Fi viruses. They emit a frequency, the information, the ones and the zeros obviously gets passed over wirelessly. And it contains a code, piggybacking an envelope. So once it's in our bodies, because we soak up, like I've talked about in the videos, we soak up frequencies. We're like walking sponges, antennas. So if something is producing a frequency, we are 9 times out of 10, we are going to feel it or pick up that frequency. So that's why we need an immune system, a force field of such, to protect ourselves. But if we're bombarded with so much EMF pollution, that would lower your immune system or create holes in your force field. So that was just my summarise of that, guys. Could viruses be, any sort of viruses, be actually code? And obviously when it can affect you and replicate in your body, but A bit like the Stargate replicators. So obviously once it's inside us, it can replicate using our body as fuel. And that source code, they emit a code which is infectious, and when we come in close quarters, basically the the social distancing, that's why they're talking about 2 meters. Could in fact that be, once you cross that 2 meters and you're in a personal bubble, you then could pick up these other frequencies from other people. It's just a thought, so hopefully you can understand what I was trying to get at, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Right, back to making my other video now. Bye guys, take care. Oh, my mouse.